morning. I see so many people that I know in the audience. My assistant always shows Jane, you know everybody. I don't know everybody, but I do know a lot of people, and I'm grateful for that. As Richard said, I'm Jane Desper Peters, and I am the Executive Director of the Black Mental Health Alliance. But more importantly, I am granddaughter to George Putnam Moody Sr. and Henry Monroe Desper. I am the daughter of Albert Desper, and I am the mother of this wonderful young man in the red shirt, Omar Maiden, and Owen Wilson. And I am the wife of Randy Peters. And I just wanted to say that because I wanted to just make at least that connection that I have some beautiful, black, strong men in my life on multiple levels. So I want to tell you all this too before I start. We had to fight the women off. I mean, the women could not understand why we were having a men-only session and they couldn't come, right? So that says a lot about us trying, there's a desire to want to kind of delve into the minds of our men.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Wanting to appreciate and understand more so that we can have better relationships. Right. So there's a time and a place for everything.
That's right, absolutely.
And today, not even the executive director is going to be in the room. So, Rich gave me strict orders, right? Like no women, right? So
Not today.
Not today. I also wanted to tell you a little bit about the Black Mental Health Alliance. So this brother here, Richard Rowe, and I have known each other for a long time. We've been associated with the Black Mental Health Alliance for a long time in multiple roles. And I feel most fortunate that I get to work with him.
Amen.
On a daily basis.
Amen. All right. Amen.
This brother is one of the deepest, most well-read, most conscious, most loving brother that I know. And I don't say that just because he is male, that he's brother. He is brother because he is my brother.
All right.
So the Black Mental Health Alliance, of course, is a nonprofit organization. We've been in existence for over 3 decades. We do this. We have training, education, and consultation around a variety of health and mental health issues to help bring healing and wellness and wholeness to our community. And so we are not going to just have this session and be done with it. We're going to follow up, and we're going to have many more to continue the dialogue that we have today. I do want to remind you that we do have a videographer in the room and photographers. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, you can move out of that space where you think you're in the line of video or photography. We understand that, and just want you to know that. And we'll also post the video to the attendees so that you may be able to see the entire video as well. So before I leave, and I've done this at every session, I found a poem or a rendering that I thought was appropriate. So if you would indulge me for a few more minutes and then I'll exit stage right. Dear Black men, you are my brother, my father, my son, my nephew, my uncle, my husband, and my friend. I understand your pain, and I know you get weary from all the injustice, because I do too. We don't always get along because of the frustration and confusion from oppression that has accumulated over the last 100 years. It started to take a toll on us, and sometimes we take that out on each other. Our communication has been interrupted by the sounds of gunshots, imprisonment, poverty, prayers, and the preacher man. We have so much to fight against, and we don't have time for healing. We have to convince this world, and sometimes ourselves, that we deserve basic human and civil rights. I know we have to deal with the lynches, police brutality, and undereducated children, but at some point we have to have this conversation because we need each other, and I don't want to lose you. We are supposed to be family. I'm sorry that the world tries to make you believe you're inferior because you're not. I'm sorry that they convinced you you're worthless and your life doesn't matter because you are worth more than the world and you mean everything to me. I know you have to fight to stay alive, but please talk to me because I am the one that needs you to stay alive. I need you here because I want to be your friend. I want you to be my companion, my educator, my protector, and my confidant. I admire your desires to be great, and I love your power and intelligence. Your ability to sway with life's rhythms and survive despite the apparent disregard for your existence means you are truly royalty, and I know your thrones have been stolen from you. You have not let me down. Quite the contrary. You have made me proud. Your strength inspires and encourages me to keep going strong. It may seem like I'm not listening or that I don't understand because I'm so hard on you at times, but I'm really just afraid. I want to be safe, and I become enraged when I think you're in danger. I feel so frustrated and angry because I see your potential, and I know the obstacles placed in the way are not only unfair, but oftentimes impossible to beat. So as I search for the patience to deal with these systems of injustice, be patient with me, be kind to me, and open your hearts to let me in. It takes strength to allow someone to see your pain. I will not judge your mistakes. I will not think you are weak if I see you cry, but rather I will understand and comfort you. And once you have released the pain and anger through tears, I will build you up so you can go on being strong and face the world that seems to be fearful and intimidated by you. I'm sorry that they hate you. I know there are not many people you can trust, and with good reason, but I promise you, you can still trust me. I'm your sister. I'm your mother, your daughter, your niece, your aunt, your wife, and your friend. I love you and adore you, and I will always have your back, and you can talk to me. And I'm saying and expressing these feelings on behalf of the Black women because Richard said it was important for me to say something powerful because I was the only female voice that you were going to hear today in this session. And I hope that you see the fact that I love you and I care for you, and I hope that you do use this space today to begin your healing. Thank you.
It's an honor to be here. Just for a little reference, two references. One was, I'm glad they left my voice record out. Two, I came up right down the street from here, right down by Compton, before they built the last section 10 years ago. So this is home. And I started at what we call Community College in Baltimore back in 1968.
PJC, tell the truth.
Oh, yes, right. PJC, that's right.
Baltimore Junior College.
Baltimore Junior College. There was this new field that had just come out called data processing. I said, well, let me get in there, make $10,000 a year and just get out the game, and $10,000 was, decent thing back then. But I had one problem. I went to school that semester, but I failed everything but one subject because I couldn't stay away from front of the computer. So the only thing I passed was psychology. And technically I had a caseload since I was 14, so I just transferred it more, kept on doing what I'm doing. So, but as with Richard, this is personal. So anyhow, let's real quickly, a couple things. So causes for Black men of this trauma. I want to go back just a minute. It's a little bigger than us. You know, I think sometimes the people coming down from other planets looking at us, we look at us like we look at ants, the red ones, and don't get on the black ones, and the black ones get on the brown ones, and this and that. And they all just ants to us. Part of the issue that has so much trauma going in our lives is patriarchy. Patriarchy. The system that says that men need to be in charge, in control, dominant, and exercise power. Now, just my way of saying things, I think there was a time when that was real relevant. You know, when we lived a much more rugged life in existence, and we had to go out and kill our food and bring it back home for the family and, you know, build everything by hand. I think it had a place, but I think it's gotten out of hand and it doesn't work in this current time. You know what the astrologers and a lot of folks are saying? We're at the end of a cycle. Some people say a 4,000-year-old cycle, some say a 6,000-year cycle, where we are getting ready to go into a new way of living. What's happening politically is just a symptom of the falling apart of the society. What's happening educationally, politically, economically, is just a symptom.
That's right.
This thing is it's technically over with.
That's right. That's right.
They just haven't announced it on CNN yet. Okay, so part of this shift is we have to go to another way of being together. And what I propose to you, what's going to help us is coming out of some of our hyper-masculinity and moving to our feminine characteristics. Now, don't, hold up, come on. I'm not talking about homosexuality. I'm saying that each one of us is masculine and feminine. And in our society, this patriarchal society, we overemphasize the masculine, the power, you know, the control, the dominance. The feminine part is about communication, connection, compassion. We are so crowded. Our single greatest issue on this planet is we have to get better at working together. We have to get better at working together. So things like compassion, empathy, communication skills. And I'll tell you the truth, it's a secret. We say first shall be last and last shall be first. A lot of folks on this planet ain't really capable at this point of real empathy and compassion. Just if I get a little technical for a minute, you know, in the back part of the brain, the amygdala, fight, flight, or freeze, that's survival mode. That's what yo-yo's doing on the street. That's what a lot of the violent groups are doing worldwide. They function from back here. That's a defense mode. I'm just being aggressive, you know, because I'm scared to death. And that's how I'm trying to take care of myself. But in order to survive in community, we have to develop empathy. And empathy lives up in the prefrontal cortex up here. Empathy and reasoning. So instead of reacting, I'm responding because I'm thinking up here. And what the neuroscientists are saying, a lot of folks are not hooked up. Not a lot of folks, because of the programming, and we're all programmed, you know, the only issue is if you let somebody else program you or you program yourself at this point. But what they're saying is a lot of folks, their neural pathways are not open, so they're not capable of empathy. So how could I provide leadership in my community if I really cannot see things from other people's perspective? That's what empathy's about. Put a note in there. So I'm just saying, part of the trauma has to do with being male. One of the ways you see that is it don't even work for white males. White males are at the top of the chart in terms of suicide. They grow up with this thing about I'm a man, I'm a white man, I should have all this power. And at a point in their life, they realize they're getting played, and it just takes the bottom out.
got nothing at all.
And they don't have and no resource to hold it together at that point. So they're at the top of the charts when it comes to suicide. So that's part of it. And then the other part we know about. What we've been through as black men, the lack of opportunity, resources, injustice, the traumas, the scars. You know, I'm teaching a doctoral program. I'm talking to one of my students who's, you know, from the community, and he said, I saw the first person killed in my neighborhood at 12. I seen a bunch of people killed and hurt and whatever. It had no effect. I said, but you never get your stuff in on time. You never do what you say, and your relationships change like the weather. Maybe it's having a little more effect on you than you realize. Maybe those traumas need to be identified and worked on because, you know, you got some stuff going on. And I tell you, there's a lot that's happened to us, and it hasn't been fair. But again, if you look at it in a bigger sense, I'm thinking the last shall be first and the first shall be last. The universe has to be preparing us for this transition. We're the natural leaders. We're the synthesis between the East and the West.
All right.
But we got to do a little house cleaning to take our role.
That's right.
For instance, what's the most toxic energy on the planet?
Fear.
Yes, but that's how it's expressed. Anger. If somebody can make you angry enough, long enough, you're going to self-destruct. No matter how righteous your anger, it doesn't matter. That other person is controlling you.
Yes, sir.
If you are reacting to them with anger, no matter how bad they're treating you, you're just following them. They're pulling your chain. They're pulling your chain. So for black men, we have to change the programming. When I say programming, I'm talking about the patriarchy. I'm talking about the way many of us came up. Like I said, I came up down the street, and we learn certain things coming up down the street. You learn how to hold your space, and you learn how to be cool. You learn how to be cool. You see, I'm cool, right? My shoes are cool. Cool means you don't deal with feelings. Because nothing can affect me.
Nothing gets to you.
Nothing's happening. And the extreme of cool is what? Cold. When I get cold, I can do anything to anybody because I don't feel anything. So we learn as men coming up in the community not to do feelings as a way of protecting ourselves. The problem with that is when we start trying to do relationships, not just with our mates, with our children, and with our parents, other community people, and most of all with ourselves. Because feelings are really the gateway to the soul. Feelings are messengers that help us, to give us guidance. So when I can figure out how I'm feeling, that gives me some information to make an informed decision about what I'm going to do. I tell you right now, if I could put one thing in the schools right now, it would be attention classes on emotional competence. Well, actually, kindergarten does that, but it changes by the time you get to the third grade, where it just becomes about things that support the gross national product. And start to weed people out and compare them and label people and all that. But in kindergarten, you're just expressing feelings through music and art and interaction and like that. And that learning style, that kind of works. you know, that kind of, but it changes as we get to third grade, and some of y'all know, you know, they used to make build prisons based on the third grade grades.
That's right.
Build prisons for 15 years later. You know, that was just the way it ran. So, this feeling, in order to do feelings, right, it requires courage and vulnerability.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Vulnerability. That means I have to open my heart. Sister mentioned it in her piece. I have to open my heart. So I can receive. The universe is talking to all of us all the time. When my heart is open, I'm in a receptive state. You know, because the universe can speak to somebody I don't like. It can speak to the television as I walk past that. It can speak to me through any source. But if I'm closed, I'm only hearing what I want to hear and what reinforces what I already believe. I'm reinforcing my delusion. So some level, it takes vulnerability and trust to really have an open heart and to really attend to one's feelings. And when I say trust, I'm not talking about trust in other people. Trust in other people is a stand-in for trusting ourselves. So I got partners I'm gonna meet with some later on today. Some of them I would trust in any threatening situation. Some of them I would trust with my money. Some of them I would trust with my woman. But most of them have some ways I wouldn't trust them because they don't have those skills and those capabilities, that capacity. So the real trust comes from my ability to say, I can take care of myself in this relationship. That's the real trust. So I can handle myself. We're talking about work environments. I can handle myself in work environments where they don't quite understand me and not are real comfortable with me. Because, you know, brothers say patriarchy is based on fear, you know, and so, you know, the ways the program has gone down, most of the world is scared of black men.
Yes, sir.
That's why they treat us like we're one. That's right. They're scared of us.
Yep.
Yeah. And I understand. We have a lot more power than we realize sometimes. But when we're playing their game, we're sabotaging our own power. So I'm talking about this, keeping this open heart. And part of keeping this open heart, what's that word Stevie want to use? It beats us down.
That's right.
It creates depression. We see it, and we do this thing. Education system helps do. It's comparison. There's nothing more violent you can do to yourself or anybody else than a comparison. And remember now, it starts in third grade. You know, Group A, Group B, Group C. You get these grades to say, you know, what your potential is and all of that. But each one of us is unique. Each one of us there's only one of a kind. Nobody else, if you got a twin, he still wasn't born exactly the same time as you, and he doesn't have exactly the same capabilities, interests, and like that. And let me just go off on a tangent just a minute. These young boys.
Come on.
What's that thing? Attention deficit, hyperactive disorder, ADHD. All the boys got now. That is not a disease. That is a learning style. What happens is we have a society that's not patient, that's not tolerant, that's trying to put people in boxes. And these kids, the species continue to evolve. These kids are made for 2020 and beyond. They weren't made for 1969. So they have a different energy.
Come on.
They got touch it, feel it, move around. I mean, they have a different, sit down, shut up, and be still is torture.
That's right.
That is not how they learn.
That's right.
And that knowledge is out there. If you pay enough money for certain private schools, you know, they'll attend to that. But, you know, in the regular public school, no, we're not there. We're not there. So it's not the kids that's the problem. But in the larger sense, when I'm talking about positivity, I'm talking about getting past the pathology period. If the Creator made you a certain way, you have certain strengths and talents that are to be actualized. However you were made, that you were made that way for a reason that's consistent with who you really are in the deepest parts of your soul and what you were put here to do. Because at some level, each one of us has a purpose.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Now, I'm not saying the purpose is about you being president. I'm talking about real stuff. Maybe you're the one that brings some humor to the party. And what we know about humor, it helps everybody relax. And when we relax, we make better decisions. You know? Maybe you're the one who knows who knows how to fix small engines. And when the lights go out, you can fix everybody's generator. Everybody's got something that they bring to. God don't make no junk. But in this comparison thing, so many of us, it hurts me when I ride through West Baltimore sometimes. So many brothers and sisters out there who don't have a sense of who they are.
That's right.
And they're really living with helplessness and hopelessness. You know, I mean, they don't see themselves. It used to be going past 25. Now a lot of them not even making it to 20.
Nope.
That's painful.
That's right.
I mean, and that's what the system is programming in. And when I say the system, I'm not even talking necessarily. I mean, there's some folks out there planning it, like that. But I'm saying the system runs on its own now. It's that kind of power. Okay. So let me get to the other piece.
I hate to do that, but
No, you need to do that with me. So part of the solution to this is what's called integrity. Integrity. Integrity is living consistent body, mind, and spirit with one's deepest beliefs. With one's deepest beliefs. And you need a system to do that. You need some kind of system. All the resiliency factors say you need some kind of a system to help you to go deeper. Other than that, this entertainment society is meant to keep you on the surface and keep you reacting to that and whatever. So the issue is, how do I be still and know? Because that's what you got to do, be still and know. So I'm proposing 3 pieces. The first is self-awareness. That's just monitoring myself. Why am I doing this? What's ticking me off? How am I feeling? What's my mood this morning? Because I know it makes a difference. One mood, I wake up in the morning and I get up and I drive in traffic and I'm fine. Next morning, I wake up and something's a little different. And the first guy that cuts in front of me, I got a finger for him.
Yeah.
You know, somebody cut in front of me every morning. That didn't change. What changed is my mood, and if I know where I'm at,
Yes, sir.
I can do some prayer, some meditation, some music, some yoga. I can do something to put me in a different space. I don't have to be a victim. So self-awareness, just monitoring myself, and no matter what happens in life, my question is, what was my part? What was I am not an innocent victim. I got a hand in everything that goes down. Because I even buy into the white patriarchy and white supremacy unconsciously at times. And how I spend my money, whatever. No judgment, but it was safe. So self-awareness. The second piece is self-reflection. That's when I ask those questions. Who am I really? What's real? Is it this degree they gave me? Is it the money I make or where I live? What's real? What's in my heart? Who am I? What's my purpose? Those existential questions are there all the time. But you know how life is. A lot of times life got to knock us down before we attend to those. As long as I can run, I'm running. But then after it knocks me down, I say, oh. So Why is this happening? That's a question I need to ask all the time. Why is this happening to me? So it's self-awareness, self-reflection, and the third one, self-discipline. Self-discipline. Anything that you achieve in life, that any of us achieve, requires some discipline. Discipline comes from the word means to learn. When I put some brakes on this, I learned something about that. So, I mean, discipline. You know, discipline might be, I'm not a morning person. I had 11 o'clock, getting up a little earlier to be where you're supposed to be. Keeping your word. Small things. Anytime, Sylvia said, the only power there is willpower. So anytime you do what you say, your power increases. Anytime you don't, it decreases. So real simple stuff. I say, see you later. I had no intention of seeing you later. I should have said, bye. You know? Because if I do what I say, I'm stronger. If I don't do what I say, I'm weaker. So self-discipline says each one of us needs to have an agenda that we're working on for us all the time. Now, sometimes we may need help with it. Sometimes we might need a therapist, a counselor, a buddy, somebody to listen over there. Our women. I'll tell you, one mark of mature men is we learn how to listen to our women more. They have a little different orientation than us. There's some things they do better than us. And so I feel like I'm in charge. But those of us, the research says we live healthier and longer when we're in long-term relationships. That's what the research says. That's my experience. So anyhow, those three things: self-awareness, self-reflection, self-discipline. Okay?
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow. First of all, I am blessed, humbled, honored to stand here before you all today. This is actually my first time speaking in front of a room of all men. So that's a powerful, powerful thing. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's huge. A few things have already stuck out for me already. Dr. Gregory kind of setting the tone for us today. He talked about just kind of finding your place in this healing process. Finding what we're going to do to not just heal ourselves, but also impart that healing into others. I'm going to say a statement, and I would like you to repeat it, but only if you believe it, okay? Everybody get that? I'm going to say it, then I'm going to come back and ask you to repeat that statement. The statement is, I am the author of my life's story. It is up to me to make it a bestseller. If you believe in that statement, I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. I am the author of my life story. It is up to me to make it a bestseller. 2 minutes, gentlemen. 2 minutes. In the grand scheme of things, 2 minutes doesn't seem like that long of a period of time. But the reality is, it is. In 2 minutes, you can walk, I think, like 160 steps or something like that. In 2 minutes, you can probably pop some popcorn, make a hot pocket, throw a hot pocket in the microwave in 2 minutes, right? You can also introduce yourself to someone, right? So it can be lasting, the impression you make on someone in 2 minutes. My life has kind of revolved around 2 minutes. Decisions that I made in 2 minutes. And I didn't even know it until I was asked, probably about 2 or 3 months ago, to come somewhere and speak. And my thought was, okay, I'm gonna have about 5 to 7 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to kind of tell what's going on, talk about my book a little bit, all that good stuff. And the person said, no, you got 2 minutes. I said, okay. And I kind of reflection, as Dr. Gregory says, sometimes you gotta reflect on things. There's a certain term that I use in my book. It's called turning points. A turning point is when something happens to you, and maybe not in that moment, but soon after, you figure out it's something that can radically change your life. high school, I was kicked out of my mom's house because we had differences of opinion with regard to the religion I was brought up in. I was brought up as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. In high school, it is rough being a Jehovah's Witness. Okay? Can't do anything, can't go out on dates, can't play sports, you can't do any of those things. Got kicked out. So I graduated from high school, homeless, couch to couch, house to house, all that good stuff. Years prior to that, when I was 12 years old, thank you, Brother Richard Rowe, for mentioning this, my father committed suicide. I got that information, I learned that in a 2-minute conversation. Sister called me up, she asked me how I was doing. I'm fine, I'm 12 years old. Yeah, I'm good, just got back from school, everything's fine. She said, Daddy committed suicide.
Wow.
Later on in life, as a Morgan State grad, I saw somebody in the Morgan State shirt.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Earlier
sir.
today, MSU.
Right. Yes, sir.
Representing love Morgan State University.
Yes, sir.
I love
Right.
that.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
All right. I got a letter in the mail. Took me 2 minutes to read it. Told me I was kicked out of Morgan State University. Couldn't handle it academically, that's what I was told. But then you have to get to a point where you make these turning points kind of make sense. You have to be the author of your own story. At Morgan, I went back, I had about a 1-point-something GPA. I exhausted all of my academic probation. I don't know how many of y'all know about academic probation, but you get a couple chances. I got some. Good brother David got a hand in the back. Yeah, I exhausted my chances. I actually wrote out, you got to write out a form for academic probation. Just got to kind of explain your hardship, turn it to the good folks. They tell you can keep on going with college, right? I actually knew the director of admissions at the time. He became a good friend of mine because I had seen him so many semesters. Yeah, right? Then one day I went back and he was gone. And that's when I was gone. Again, out of school, about a 1-point-something GPA. And it was weird for me because I didn't want to be that statistic. Of all the statistics that black men deal with, I didn't want to be the college dropout. I didn't want that. Spent some time in the AmeriCorps, got some money to go back to school. AmeriCorps folks in there, okay? Love it, absolutely. And that's where I kind of found my calling, working with young people. So that turning point in my life, getting kicked out, actually gave me the confidence I needed, gave me the experience I needed to understand what I needed to be. I needed to be an educator, right? I'm working with young people, and I'm thinking I had it hard. I'm thinking, you know how we are. Sometimes we're so stuck in our own situation, and we don't really realize just how hard other people had it. I'm in this program. It was at James McHenry Elementary School, Southwest Baltimore. And this young man, he's there every day, but I see him kind of lagging behind. He's kind of low energy. Even when it comes to gym time, and normally, when you have recreation time, you playing dodgeball, you doing those things. Those black boys, they with it, they ready to go. Him, he just wanted to kind of sit in the corner and just chill out. So I'm trying to encourage, motivate. Come on, man, get back. Come on, man, it's dodgeball. Look, you ain't fun with this. Like, nah, Mr. Evans, I'm good. Okay, second grade, right? So then I'm kind of asking questions about this young man. Anybody know anything that's going on with this young man? They say, oh, yeah. Second grade. He takes care of his brother and sister. His mom works at night. He takes care of his brother and sister. He makes sure that they eat dinner. He gets them up for school. He makes sure that they get to school. Second grade, right? Knowing people's perspective, knowing people's stories, knowing what they're going through, right? Come back to my father. For years, I blamed myself for my father's death. My father and I had an argument. Actually, my father kind of against my brother and I. He came to us, gave us a call, said, we're going to have to take you out of the school that you're attending. At the time, I was attending Gilman. You all heard of Gilman Private School, right? Brother was there since 4th grade. He was in about 10th grade at that time. I was there for middle school, just 6th and 7th grade. Father gave me a call, said, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make swing that anymore. It's just too much. I'm going to be honest with you all. We shouted for joy. So tired of being in Gilman. We was ready to get into a public school setting. We want to be around our cousins. We want to be around folks that look like us. We excited, happy, right? 2-3 months later, Dad committed suicide. Right? So for years, I thought it was me. I killed my dad. Give you perspective, my brother on the opposite side, angry. He a sucker, man. You don't take his life? Nah, that's not how we do this. Same mother, same father, same DNA, completely different perspectives, right? Years later, probably literally maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I found out that my dad suffered from bipolar disorder, manic depression. Makes a big deal, right? And I'm talking about diagnosed. Even back then, diagnosed with bipolar disorder. He wasn't taking his medication consistently. Not to mention the fact he's a Vietnam vet, right? So PTSD is real, right? So again, coming to terms with the obstacles that my father had allowed the weight to kind of come off my shoulders.
Come on.
Train up a child in the way that he should go. I battle depression to this day. I battle anxiety to this day. There's times when I'm sitting in front of people, you start getting jittery, and you hear that name, you're ready to run for that thing. Like, yes, let me get out of here. Dr. Berkeley said we have to find our purpose in the struggle. My purpose is to tell my story. That way, you all can tell your stories. That way, we can talk to each other.
Amen.
We can confide in each other. And not be looked at any differently, not be laughed at. That's not what it's about. It's about encouraging one another and pushing one another to be our absolute best selves. 1 in 4. That's a statistic I like to throw out. 1 in 4 people deal with a mental health issue across the world. If you look across the world, it's 1 in 5 in America, in the United States. 1 in 4 people battle some type of mental health struggle, right? So because of that, honestly, if you look around, it's probably either you or somebody on your row that's battling something, right?
Come on.
You gotta be honest about it.
Yep.
We gotta be transparent about it. And I'm gonna give you an example. A lot of you all, some of you all who might doubt it. Like, nah, I don't really deal with PTSD. Maybe, I don't know, possibly not. Raise your hand if either now or during that time you was clubbing, everybody had that time they was clubbing hard and doing that thing, right? You made sure that if you were in the whip, you pulled your whip in backwards. Just in case you had to leave out the party real fast. Okay? Right. PTSD. Everybody don't do that. Everybody don't pull in their whip backwards. Don't pull your car in backwards. You just pull in, go inside, and have a good time because you see you're gonna get home, right? No, it's not really a thing. Even if it hasn't happened to us, we know some folks who got caught up in something and man, your car pointed a certain way, you didn't even get out of here, right? How many of you either previously or now go into restaurants and you make sure you don't sit with your back to the door, you don't sit with your back to PTSD?
Yes, sir.
It's real. I ain't got to pray. That's it. It's real. We have trained ourselves to take care of ourselves and take care of our families. All right? So we're all going through these struggles. But we have to find a way and commit to pushing ourselves again to be our best selves and to being open, honest, transparent, and helping others kind of reach their successes. I have what I call a mental health. It's kind of like a diet, I say. It's a diet. If you don't take anything else from what I say, please just kind of remember these points. It's a mental health, almost like what I call a balanced diet. All right? 4 S's and a T. 4 S's and a T. First S, self-care. Gotta take care of yourself. That's physically. That's getting in the gym as you see I need to. That's eating right. That's just making sure that your body is okay, physically. Along with that self-care, your mind. You gotta get it right. If you need to see a therapist, go see a therapist. It literally changed my life, seeing a therapist. I've been in therapy for about a year now. And one thing, probably the primary thing my therapist told me was that a lot of the reason that I and so many people have struggles is because you feel that you don't have a voice. When you feel like your power, as Dr. Gregory said, is being taken away from you. And your primary power is usually your voice. You always feel like you can say something. But there's so many of us who are not saying things we need to say. And instead, we'd rather have a heart attack. Let's be real, right? We'd rather be addicted to that. And some of us, we're addicted to sex or drugs or whatever it is. And we would rather tell our homeboys about that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what we would rather talk about. We'd rather talk about all the bad stuff we're doing, all the crazy stuff we're doing, all the negative stuff we're doing. And you know you got fellas that's open to hearing, right? Let's change the narrative. The fact that Brother Bro had somebody call him and tell him, man, I'm struggling. You know how powerful that is? That's where we gotta get. Like, I love to hear when my folks are doing things for themselves and folks are doing things for their families and for their children. That's amazing. That's it. But you know what? I also don't mind hearing when you're struggling, man. And me, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I am simply a mental health advocate. Or I shouldn't say simply, because I'm learning now that there's power in being an advocate. There's power in telling the stories. I could not tell you how many inboxes I got when I put this book out. And it wasn't even the first book I was planning on putting out. My cousin had to tell me to put the book out. This was literally just some journaling I did from high school, dealing with mom, dealing with being homeless, dealing with my dad's death, going to college, being put out, having a son and being angry about having a son. Who was this girl that had my child, man? What? Angry. But we don't want to talk about that type of stuff. Instead, we'd rather do things that harm ourselves. And then I learned that when you get to loving yourself, you got enough love for your babies. My two went in the back. You got enough love for your babies. You got enough love for everybody if you start with loving yourself. But again, this is about self-healing. This is about self-healing. My first project was supposed to be a little fake story about me and my homeboys in high school and all that type of stuff. And then my cousin read this book and she said, bruh, with mental health, you need to put this out there. Because there are people who are scared to say the word suicide. Can y'all just say that word real quick? Suicide. It's real, it's a thing, right? And you not saying the word, it's not gonna make it go away, right? And we have to be so comfortable in that word that we are there and able to push people to not take that route, to not take that route. That's what we have to do, okay? So again, I want to thank you all for the time I've had. Again, if you can't remember anything, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish off the 4 S's in the team before I get off here. Self-care, absolutely. You need to get yourself a support system. Support systems are big. Know the folks who are your triggers, even your family. Get away from them. Hey, real talk, my mother is a trigger for me. But guess what? I take care of her. I make sure she's in the hospital. When she has to go to the hospital, I make sure she's there. I'm there every day, making sure I feed her, making sure she has everything she needs. And then once she gets well, that's what I do. Know your triggers. Stop faking. No, that's my mom. I gotta be around her. No, you don't. Be around her when you need to, and then hit the door. Do what you gotta do for you, okay? Self-care. Find your support systems, the right people, all right? And for me, spirituality. My pastor, Paul Grant, man, is amazing. He's a mentor to me. And everybody has their own kind of spiritual dealings, but that's a part of your diet. Find what your spirituality is, get a foundation in that, and then do what you have to do. And that T is therapy. If you need it, get it. It is a game changer. All right? I talked about training up a child. I've had thoughts of suicide. And one of the football players that just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, Ryan Dawkins from the Philadelphia Eagles, he was like, man, I was planning that thing. Like, I was trying to figure out, and it resonated with me because I'm like, yo, how can I kill myself and make sure my family's good? How can I do this, right? And then you start getting a voice, and then you start getting power, and then you start getting your passion, and then you start looking forward to doing stuff like this every day. And you're like, man, I can't die, I got too much work to do. Much appreciated, gentlemen.
Sometimes I'll be in the room with Earl and Richard, and we have Dr. Akia Malabudi and Reem Akbar and those cats, man. I couldn't even say anything. See one of those warrior soldiers in the room, Brother Kamasi sitting back there, David Miller and others, man. I am honored to stand here, man. This piece, man, my younger brother was 6'5", 255. We won a shot putting distance his junior year, 3.5 GPA. Every college university wanted me. Went bowling, he checked his shoes, he used their shoes. A 14-year-old kid was behind the counter, took his shoe, altercation broke out. My brother guffed him up in the bowling alley. He went home and armed himself. As my brother went to leave, he waited for him outside in the bowling alley, man. He stabbed him. He died 4 days later, shock trauma. I didn't think, for a long time, I didn't think they knew each other, Earl, but they knew each other. 3 seconds of rage, 3 seconds of anger. When I interviewed this kid, he said it was 3 seconds, man. 3 seconds of anger, and he made a decision that he couldn't take back. David Miller, we Park Heights and Wiley and Woodland. And look, man, we ain't playing with you. For a long time, man, I was angry. And that's just somebody gonna pay, whether it's his baby sisters, baby cousins, whatever, because we always look through lenses of, at least I did, lenses of revenge and retaliation. I didn't know any other way. You heard me, I heard somebody in your family, a couple of them. I'm hiding under the car, in the tree, whatever, but you don't get what's coming to you. But I was dying inside of unforgiveness. I try to give y'all a gift this morning by having him sit in the audience, because most of the time I'll say to you now, the next voice you hear is a young man who actually took my brother's life, because we now currently work together. We now currently work together. And it blows folks' minds, like, man, how can you work with a kid who killed your brother instead of, man, it ain't me, it's God. Ching a bell in the bathroom, another powerful brother. How do you do that? I said, man, but in the spirit of diversity, whether how power you believe in your God, he or she, they rock, they awesome too. But I know who woke me up this morning. Imagine, man, being angry every day. It consumes you. I was telling Richard, man, that the other day I was in a gas station. His brother walking by, and I'm moving up to my pump, Earl, and he just mean mugging me the whole time, man. I ain't did nothing. He just mean mugging me, and I'm like, man, what? So I got dashiki on, man. I got out of the car, I put my card in, get some gas, and he steps on the other side. He's on the other side, and he steps around and just start looking at me. I said, "What's up, big brother? How you doing?" "Why you say it like that?" I said, "My man, I'm just speaking to you from one black man to another, from one warrior, one soldier, one king to another. Can I not check your pulse? Can I not say hello to you?" And 3 other white folk were looking at us like, "Oh, come, we're about to kick off." And I just said, man, but I understood there was displaced anger. It didn't have nothing to do with me. It was in this huge, but I had to really check myself, because my daughter was in the car, because, my man, don't let this dashiki fool you. But it was just a crazy vibe, man, that I can't even, as a black man, I can't even say, "What's up, how you doing?" And he proceeds to back out. He has this huge dump truck. He proceeds to back out, tow truck proceeds to back out on Falls Road in Cold Spring in a gas station, and he encounters 2 other brothers in 2 other cars. He gives the same thing to them, and they pull in. I said, "Man, don't worry about it, man. It wasn't. And we didn't do anything. It was." So how do we heal? How do we not look at each other as our arch enemies? And there's on the video, man, it said that I was dying inside of unforgiveness. See, some of us, man, we've done some things, man, we still holding on to that stuff. We've said some things, folks say sticks and stones when made your bones words never hurt you. That's a damn lie.
That's right.
That's a lie.
That's right.
My question is, man, when are we going to take our power back? When are we going to forgive ourselves? How long are we going to continue to die inside of unforgiveness? Because as long as I had this hatred towards this brother, as long as I had all that stuff inside of me, man. I was dying inside every single day. Some of you under the sound of my voice, I will submit to you, are a dressed up piece of mess. I came in this room this morning in pain, not physical pain, but just pain. Things aren't working. I mean, every time. I had a 1992 Mercedes-Benz E190, not a rust stain on it, Richard, shined up, polished up, ready to go. I park it on, 118,000 miles, garage kept, the whole thing beautiful. Man, I parked that joker on York Road 2 days ago. The sister had it was parked. The sister had to be on the phone texting or something, brother. Dr. Greg. I'm in the office, man, and somebody said, somebody hit a Volvo, it's on the corner. I said, well, I'm at the Volvo. Meg Evans, where you at, Meg? I said, I don't even have a Volvo. It can't be talking about me. Bro, I come out, man. Waste my back home. Hit my car and pushed it into the next car and hit that car. I came out, I was like, I was livid. I was like, are you serious? I'm in the, all I can do to the young person was say, she said, I'm so sorry. And I just looked at the sister. The self-reflection, doc. Self-awareness. All I could do to kind of calm myself, Kamasi, was to hug her and ask her, was she okay? Because at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. And for me, my question to you is, are you okay? David Miller, I called Dave on the phone like, yo, Dave, just working for yourself thing, it ain't working. I got off the plantation, y'all. I stepped out on faith in God's favor. I am too a proud graduate of the Morgan State University. I am currently a professor in the MSW program at the Morgan State University. And I'm honored to have one of my students in the audience. Stand up, sir. Working for yourself, Earl, man, is something that I call dead, man. I'm like, I do the work. And then it's supposed to be a plus 30, and then, get paid, and then it's a plus 60, then it turned out plus 120, and I can't tell the mortgage people, So, man, I'm angry. I done did the work. Man. But my question is, how many of us are dying inside of unforgiveness? When will you take your power back? Check with the other men in the room, man. Let's just have those difficult but courageous conversations. Those difficult but courageous conversations. I told Rich, man, I told Dave, I said, man, Dave would say, girl, put the black mass away. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go, somebody gonna have to get it. That don't come. But I just say to you, man, I ran out of time, man. I love y'all, man. Nobody told y'all today, I love y'all. Superman ain't coming to save us. Superman ain't coming to save us. The only one gonna save us is us. We gotta love each other, man. We gotta love each other. We gotta embrace each other, man. We gotta lift each other up. We gotta make the phone calls at the right time and check on your boys, check on your tribe, check on the cats that you say you love. If not us, in the famous words of Richard Robin, who, thanks for listening.
Hello, my brothers, sisters. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much. This is a real honor. I feel safe here, so I feel comfortable. Before I get to my primary comments, I want to share something that I've never shared publicly before. Again, Rich, I want to thank you. Yes, you're right, I did walk in with sunglasses. In fact, I walked in like I was on time, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
But I'm here now, and again, this is truly a blessing. When I was 17 years old, I came in a house with my mother and two sisters in it. And I saw my younger sister crying.
Take your
I
time.
asked her why she was crying. And she told me that her father made a promise to her. And he didn't fulfill that promise.
Come on. All right, then.
In fact, he had a history of making promises and not fulfilling those promises.
Yeah.
He didn't live with us, he lived with his mother. She had air conditioned, big house. We had a 2-bedroom apartment, no air. He didn't live far away, so I decided I was gonna handle this.
Come on.
No more. I borrowed, no I didn't. I stole a gun, a handgun, from my girlfriend's mother. I'm in this. I walked to that house, his house, my grandmother's house. He was on the porch, Catonsville, Handy Avenue. He was sitting on the porch, screened in. I had the gun tucked back, squared up on the front steps, right outside the porch. He's inside. I said, come on out. I'm in this. No more. My older sister, and this had to be God, as I was ready to go for the gun, and he stood up, she came down the street and started screaming. The only thing to prevent me from taking his life was that when he saw her, he knew something was up and he went in the house. I've never shared that story publicly before, but I felt I was safe here.
Yes, sir. Come on.
Because I want to let you know how I came to this world.
All right.
I was going to take his life. No more pain. You're right, Richard. I work with young boys. And I know I'm going to be brief here. And I've told Richard and David before that when I work with young boys around their anger issues, under the guidance of Brother Kingston, who's allowed me to do this over the years, we can talk about every issue. We can talk about mama issue, girlfriend issue. We can talk about everything. What's the one issue we can't talk about? We can't talk about fathers.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I got young boys, 10, 12, 13, oldest one is 14. I can talk about any issue, but I better not bring up a father. Mr. Maceo, we don't talk about that. What?
Don't know.
I said, tell him. I go around the room. Earl, I had 8 boys in the room a couple months ago. Go around the room. Identify 2 people in your life that you can trust and rely on. They can name grandmother, mother, best friend, older brother, 8 boys. This ain't a test. I didn't do a setup. Not one boy,
Right.
not one named the father.
All right.
Not one. I came here primarily to talk about the power of forgiveness and healing. And that story and that message has really been the theme for today. That father I talked to you about is still alive. He's in a nursing home now. And about 6 years ago, I decided I need to forgive this man.
I'm out.
Because I could not hold on to that pain, that hurt, that rage,
Yes, sir.
and move forward.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't serve my clients if I continued to do that. So I go to the nursing home. He was as shocked to see me as I was to be there. And that healing started. It didn't make the past go away, but I realized something. Now that it can happen to me, I can tell clients about it, that when you can forgive, it's not about, right, brother? It's not about the other person.
No, sir.
It's about liberating you.
Yes, sir.
And so when I work with these young boys who become older boys, who become grown men, I'm trying to work with them and teach them that you've got to forgive to move on. I do primarily work around mental health and substance use and abuse. In our community, there's a link between the two. The clients I work with that are substance abusers have mental health issues. You can't separate it. The men are angry. I don't necessarily ask the question, now that I know what I've gone through and I've acknowledged, why are you mad? The question is, who hurt you? Let me talk about that. And when I ask grown men in their 50s and 60s,
Come on.
who hurt you? They break down and start crying.
Come on.
They're crying in the room. What was planned to be a 60-minute group session turns into something 2 hours. And you can't build on more than that, so that's your time. But you can't leave a group of men who are exposing their pain, some for the very first time, and say, sir, this 60 minutes is up. You started this, you got to finish it. You opened this door up. You told me I was safe to come here to talk. This healing issue is critical for us if we are to move on. When we talk about the violence in Baltimore City, we have to talk about the mental health issue. When we talk about the young boys not doing well in school and their diagnosed behavior, we've got to talk about this pain and forgiveness issue. All the boys that I work with can identify someone in their house, primarily a female, that loves them. And yes, many of my clients have to deal with mama love to the max. Mothers are out there and grandmothers are out there trying to compensate and overcompensate for that missing father. Clinically, we can say, look, you know, you're doing a little too much. But what do you do when the other side is taking the back seat? You overcompensate. So these young boys are constantly dealing with rage, anger issues, not able to talk about their fathers. Okay? And it's amazing because when you work with young boys, African American males, in a group session, you may have a program, an agenda ready. But so often, they want to ask questions about manhood. What's it mean? You know, the door's shut, it's safe, let's talk. Rites of passage. What's that mean? Why do we go through that? Mr. Maceo, they want to talk about girls. They want to talk about whether or not, you know, is 14 too young to have sex? I tell fathers all the time, you want to put us health professionals out of work? It's easy. Get a box of chicken, a half and go on Federal and just talk to your sons. Or your daughters for that matter. You spend more time with them, they'll see less of us.
Come on.
Too often in the mental health profession, they think that black male therapists are the key. Well, we need you guys. Let me tell you. I think I'm good at what I do, and I'm no substitute for a father. I can't fool myself.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm no substitute for a father. A brother here today, a couple weeks ago, a group of black men came together at the Black Mental Health Alliance, and Richard and David asked us to go around and introduce ourselves. And brother, we were all given our titles, names, and our positions. One brother, his name is Earl, he's here today. He said two things. He said, I'm a father and a husband. I thought about what he said the whole time I rode home after that meeting. I said, that's it. That's it. All the titles we threw around, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a professor, he just said it. He started, now I know the brother, he's a lot more, he's that and plus. But he said two things. I'm a husband and a father. That's right. Wow. He stopped. He didn't say anything more. I was waiting. What? He gonna say something else? Okay. Am I right? Right. So if we can take that message of being a father and a husband, or a father, and even if you're not married, acknowledging who she is and treating that queen with the respect that she deserves. Why do I say that? Because she's the mother of your children.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's why I said that. Put me out of business. I want to do something else. I like reading books, doing historical research. I love working with black kids, but I'm tired of the pain. Let's find forgiveness in our hearts so we can move on, and so we do what? We can teach that to others. So that all of us can one day say, I'm a father and a husband. That's it. That's who I am, and that's what I do.
Amen.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
I don't like to begin unless we have love in the room, so first let me say I love y'all. And I know I love you because it takes a lot on Saturday morning to leave those boy shorts and sheets. I was married, but over to the side and it's like half of it. I got 6 children in part because of those same boys. And
That's another comment.
I must love these brothers. Ain't no way in so I do. I really do. I love y'all. And why? Why do I love you? Implicitly, because I love myself. I can't do it without y'all. I had the pleasure of being on the Egg Day, and it was the first time in years, maybe 35 years, I sat in the forest, around the fire, with all the brothers. I'll remind someone here right now, but I felt safe. We were in a circle, and I just got sleepy, went to sleep, and I realized that for the first time maybe since I was 5, that I felt safe. You know, my big brother always kept me safe. He left here in 2006. He was part of this earthly existence. And my dad always kept me safe. And I sort of took that torch and carried it. So I keep my kids safe, keep myself safe. And through PTSD, like we talked about, right? Through the trauma of seeing people get shot at 15 in Baltimore. And just being the man that I was. But in any event, so I'm a yogi because that's what my dad modeled for me. I was raised Catholic and Christian, went to Catholic school. I'm a recovering Catholic, undid that with Christianity, became a recovering Christian. But there's somewhere in there, as James Baldwin said, the minute you get educated, you start to question the source of your education. And I just really didn't sit well with me to be honoring the oppressor's religion. So I was like, this is strange. So when I went to India for the first time, I went for 38 days last year, and that's the first thing they said to me, unprompted. I got out of the plane, they're like, you know Jesus was brown, right? I was like, wow. I was like, thank you. I had an inclination, but why do you press that on me? So I just felt in my spirit that, religion is what keeps us apart, really put together by same atoms, same molecules. And yoga represented that for me, a non-separation. We'll do an exercise at the end that will demonstrate, it will display that non-separation and unity. So coming outside of the box, I guess we'll do the advanced thing. I'll let you do that. All right, you can go next slide. So that, a little bit about me. I believe everything should be done in context. I was born and raised in Baltimore City. My parents did that to me. They were products of Morgan State University. Both of them educated there, so that's me looking like young Michael Jackson in '72. And that's me. I went to Copperfield High School. I was a bench point guard. I don't know if they would call me one. I was on the bench. But we were D1 that year. It was hard to get one team. We had some pros in the NBA, so it was a little tough. But that's my Trayvon Martin days, I say. Because that's when I looked the most like him. And that's when I found out my Cowboy brothers. Out of 350 grads, I considered those white boys my brother. But when Trayvon Martin went down, I posted this picture alongside Trayvon Martin. And I said, well, when my kids are in your, visiting your neighborhood, visiting your kids, what are y'all gonna do? None of my brothers responded. And I said, all right, got you. Doesn't mean that I harbor any resentment against it. It just means that it was a good reality check. So next slide, please. So born and raised in Morgan Park, I don't think that you can talk about yourself as an independent man without going to interdependence. My maturity, my spiritual maturity took place when I got married. I got married at 34. When I was back in college, it took me 10 years to graduate. Went to Hampton University, went to the University of Maryland, and all I did was a lot of weed, a lot of women. So I learned the hard way, hit rock bottom. And I knew when my pictures of Jesus, I took those pictures of Jesus down, and I had pictures of Bob Marley and the marijuana plant up. I knew I had an issue. Like a real issue. So this woman, Devon Bell, my wife, was part of my spiritual maturity. So me and her got married. She's definitely my soulmate. We both Geminis. We go next slide. That union produced 5 kids. Our oldest daughter, 2 marriage, who, she was struggling a little bit last night. I didn't go to her thing. Didn't find out about it until this morning. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm on the way to Cuba. I'll be back in 4 days. So I was like, all right. And that's the son. And she's the bonus baby, I call her. But my wife and I had 5 stem cells. She kept me in line. When I went to the White House to get, under Obama, the Presidential Award for Service, being from Baltimore, I was right at the gate, and I heard, I said, that's a gunshot. Everybody else was like this. But being okay with that stress, I was like, that's a gunshot. I'm about to get in the White House, and it was the day some fool ran his weapon because he wanted to die by an officer. So he got shot, he got his wish. I didn't get in the White House, but my wife pressed up, wrote the White House, called, and she made me bring my award. And we took our own little cell phone photos. Now I got a marketing piece as if I got this. So that's important to that interdependence, right? Next slide. That's everybody growing up who they are today. We had an appearance on Good Morning America. I homeschool my kids. 3 of my kids were home birth. And so they go everywhere we go. People always say, they're a little weird. They're like so mature. And it's just because I keep them close. Because again, for me, being ostracized in this society, they always pick at me like, I'm just intelligent. Like we all are. But I used to always be sequestered. Had somebody from some outside, oh, he's so brainy. What the hell is that? So I didn't want my kids to feel like a science experiment. So I kept them close. So one of the hardest decisions I made, we stayed in poverty for a long time for that. So I don't necessarily recommend it for folks, but I do. If you're serious about that walk, you can't just be out here in a dashiki and taking a check from IBM and not be conscious about what it is you're doing. Now, that's no disrespect to anybody. But in this city, they try to check me all the time. I'm like, yo, you a salary taking dude, Like on real talk, you gotta sit back because this shit is hard. And it's real. Like my life, my heart is in it, and that's my testimony. So that's why I contextualize before I speak with you to know that we truly are the same. We got the same values, same goals. I may display it a little differently, but there's oneness. Next slide. So who are you? Usually this is interactive and I actually text it in the word cloud will build. So it's not going to build because it's a PDF. But I need to know who's in the room. So just like 3 volunteers, 5 volunteers, just shout out who you are and it'll be interesting how you define yourself. Who are you?
Father.
Father.
Black man.
Black man.
Husband.
Husband. One more.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. So all these constructs of things that we are, they float, they rotate, right? Yoga teaches us to identify through mindfulness who we are at any given moment, any given snapshot. I stand before you, obviously, I'm a father, a husband. Have I been a cheater? Have I been a criminal? Have I been a loser? Have I been homeless? I've been a lot of things, but who I am is yet to really be defined until I meet that maker, probably. And even then, I'm not sure. But we're always growing and evolving every moment to moment. And that's one of the key aspects of yoga. It's not white women making you hold a position for a long time, wearing clothes so tight you can see their anatomy, and being passive aggressive, telling you, hold the pose. That's not yoga. That's why I got into this work. This is very healing. It's a science. It's a science of mind, body, spirit. Yoga knows together. That's not. So you go inside, that would have been where it is. So what are 5 words you use to describe the world as you see it? Just anybody.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Changing.
Changing.
Connected.
Connected. Dangerous.
Confusing.
Confusing. Excellent words. I know there's a lot of therapists in the room, but it's my understanding that how we see the world is how we believe the world to be. We project our inside onto the world. So these are the things we have in us. So we have danger in us, we have confusion in us, we have beauty in us. So if you write down these 5 things, this is a way of assessing who you are, this awareness. Next slide, please. Next slide. So the mat is a reflection of who you are. When you get on the mat, if you were weak, if you can't hold plank pose for 5 minutes, that doesn't mean you're not strong as a man. It's a lot of pecs and anterior deltoids I can see just looking at you, right? Because that's what we do. We build it up, push-ups, sit-ups. But yoga is about your small muscle groups. Who holds up the major muscles? Small muscles. That's how we're connected. What really makes it, that's how Trump got elected. Small muscles. Small muscles. Small muscles matter. It's an African proverb that there are no small snakes. Because a viper this big is just deadly as a viper that big. Next slide. So what we do as an organization, we asset frame, we don't deficit frame. A lot of times in conferences such as these, and we haven't done that here, I realize it was you, Bryce. One of the brothers that I graduated with, one of the 5. What we do as an organization, we asset frame, so we don't say helping black men, no, because we're not cases that need to be helped. We support. So we all need support. So we support along the lines of education, for holistic practices, and enunciating that and just giving space for vulnerability. That's essentially what we did, holding space. Because that's what needs to happen. Now also, it was about David and about Richard, I went over to Africa for 23 days. Did 6 cities in Ghana. I had been in Nigeria before, but Ghana was much different. And what I discovered through that journey, going to Cape Coast, going to the slave, I don't know why they call them castles, the slave fortresses. Yeah, these dungeons where, oddly enough, the churches were right over where they were holding slaves, right on top. I realized that this era, in my opinion, my observation, is the era for being heard. That's how we're going to heal, be heard. Bob Hope's name has come up a lot. Even as a yogi, people think, oh, you got to get a I'm no guru. So I go to a therapist. My therapist is in the back, Bob Hope, and just being heard. As human beings, we listen to the power of our own voice. That's a proven fact. That's a researchable fact. So that's why we don't listen to our loved ones, our brothers, our mothers, and fathers. It's the power of our own voice. So a lot of times through motivational interviewing, we get to hear ourselves say what we already know, and hearing it out loud, we can make that change. So next slide. Next slide, that's our logic model. So prevention is the key, right? So it is nothing like being in there with a bunch of black men and us going ahead and talking about our backs. Our trauma we hold in our bodies, talking about our shoulders, how it hurts. These things holding your fascia, the fascia of your body. So there's a biological way to get rid of trauma as well. We're reverse engineering in neurology because I'm doing this right now, but my brain told me to do it. I'm doing this right now, my brain told me to do it. So when you are awakening certain synapses that wouldn't be engaged, that begins to change your neurology. It also can change your endocrinology, which essentially affects your blood, and this whole system of change comes about. Next slide. So as it relates to mental health, in yoga, it really doesn't address mental health. It does in the Yoga Sutras, which is more or less their Bible. In Yoga Sutra 216, it talks about preventing the inevitable that is to come. So pain, suffering, they call it the kleshas, the 5 kleshas. Preventing these things by dealing with the sensations of your mind. So we know if you love your parents, you really love them, you know when they pass, you're going to be hurting. So what are one of the things you can do right now to prevent hurt? You can't prevent it, but you can be strong and willful and understand how life works. Patience, acceptance, letting go, trust. These are all principles of mindfulness. We can go next slide. That's all. So yoga, Ashtanga yoga is 8-limb yoga. This is the first step, first stage of doing it is practicing yoga. Why? Because as we mentioned, yoga means to yoga. So it's yoga in mind, body, and spirit. Ashtanga is 8. There's Satanga yoga, which is 7. There's Chaturanga yoga, which is 4. What we know today in modern day practice is 8 limbs of yoga. And that is concentration, that is meditation, that is asana, that is pranayama, which is breathing. I'm not giving these in order. That is social constraint and that is personal constraint. All of these things work together to make a complete human being. Next slide. So dispassion is the hidden secret of yoga. I don't teach my kids to do yoga, but they do it better than me. They just see me doing it and they do it. So we just recently moved. We bought our first house. And I'm sitting down, it has some acreage to it too, so I'm happy about that. I was eating breakfast like a true G yesterday in my flip-flops, picking blueberries off my own trees. And I was like, wow, so this is that biblical thing to do, right? I didn't have to wash it. So dispassion is the hidden secret of yoga. So dispassion it says it speaks to neutrality. If this is life, this line, an ideal life, then this is winning the lotto. And this is your best friend dying. And this is getting a new puppy when you're a kid. And this is that puppy dying. But life says, and yoga wants you to do like this. This is winning the lotto. This is your best friend dying. This is getting a puppy when you're a kid. This is that puppy dying. It's less of a roller coaster because we know they're coming. We know they're coming. When I was in couples therapy, it wasn't the fact that my wife had cheated when we were dating. I didn't care about that because I had cheated on everybody I knew up to that point. Literally, she was the first person I didn't cheat on. I don't want to be mad that she cheated when we were dating. It was the trust about not telling me because she didn't believe that I would be okay with her telling me. So that was what bothered me. So we went to therapy after we had already worked through it. I said, all right, well, let's just prevent what we know is coming next, which might be me cheating. I'm coming 50. I don't know. You know, I gotta work on myself. Whatever it could be. Let's be honest. Cheating is not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that happens is cancer. The worst thing that can happen is a car accident. I could care less about that other stuff, to be honest, y'all. That's my girl. But it's the real life stuff that I call that we worry about. So I want to make sure I'm whole and she's whole too. So dispassion is that. Next slide. I know we got to wrap up. Like 5 minutes more, like 2. Neutrality, I spoke to you. Go to the next slide, please. So this is the 5 pillars of prevention. So they are 1, prevention. The way you can be preventative is through a daily practice. So when you eat on your table, what do you do at night for dinner? What do you do after you eat?
Clean up.
Clean the table. What do you do at night before you go to bed? Hopefully you to your teeth. Brush your teeth. So my question is, what do you do for your spirit every day? What are you doing for your spirit? We talk about suicide in the room now. You always have a practice. It's about your koshas. We have these different sheets around us. Manamaya kosha, Anamana kosha. When the Maya kosha, which holds the mind, when it gets too close to the body, they can predict when you're suicidal because they already know. When it gets too close, when it goes into the biological sheath, you want to die. So they can fix that through breathing practices and through certain postures that expand your mind again, expand your mind kosha. So we must learn to clean our spirit. Maintenance is the second part. And you just do maintenance through practice. Kobe Bryant, but I think he spoke about doing 4 a.m. practices, shooting 1,000 free throws a day. Even though he was Kobe, he was still practicing. So I think for a lot of us, I know myself included, definitely, I'm really speaking to myself as much as y'all because there's no separation, right? Is that practice is key. Intervention, this is a self-intervention practice. Meditation is a form of self-intervention. One little key way, and we're going to do this in a second, it should take 2 minutes, Richard said maybe I'll go over about 60 seconds, is by just noticing the breath, feeling the breath come out of your nostrils onto your top lip. If you try to do that, you will notice your mind will wander to anything, grocery shopping, something I might have said earlier that you still didn't sit right with you, whatever it is, your mind will wander, but you just keep bringing it back. So restoration, rest. A lot of us need to rest. Whenever I'm in a room full of black men, really when we do Shavasana, which is dead man's pose, we just need a nap, most of us. Brothers be snoring. They wake up after like, yo, you did, that was amazing, dog. I just gave you the space to sleep. Because it's like I said, we are leaders of our households. We might be managers at work. We're carrying so much on us. We don't have time to rest. When you know somebody you trust is really looking beyond you to make sure that the monsters aren't coming, and that can be both ephemeral, like in the metaphor sense, and real, you rest. And then last is resilience. Coaches talk about it in adversity. A lot of us have played sports, but studies have shown Alter Traits is a book by Richard Davidson, and they talk about studying the brain, and the only thing that has shown to be scientifically studyable, if I could say that, is your ability to be resilient. So happiness, truth, will, those things don't show up in the brain. Truth to an extent because certain parts of the brain and the prefrontal cortex will light up when you're lying. So we sort of can look at the negative ratio to that negative aspect and say, all right, you're not telling the truth. But other things, those ephemeral qualities don't show up neurologically. So resilience, your ability to, like we said, I know my dad is going to die one day. He's 77. I know that's not going to be at the proper time. It could be like, not when I'm at a conference or something. But how am I going to be resilient? Not that I can prepare for it, but how will I then adapt in that moment? So it's just preparing for that moment.
So I'm going to be relatively brief because I really want to hear Dr. Purnell, and I really want to hear from you guys in terms of questions or responses and reflections. So one of the things that we really want y'all to begin to do is begin to think about some questions that you want to ask us on the panel, or other panelists, or even ask other black men in the room. So I'm going to be relatively quick. Who's ever been punched in their mouth? You see, some of y'all ain't raised your hands. I'm concerned about that. Right? Raise your hand if you've been punched in the mouth. All right, some of y'all lying. All right. And so that's how I really want to start this presentation. Some of y'all can put 2 hands up, your feet, because you know you couldn't fight back in the day. But that's a whole other presentation right there. And so, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that I want to share with y'all is a formula for what to do when you get punched in the mouth. Because America is consistently punching us in the mouth, right? And our response to being punched in the mouth is ultimately going to determine our collective survival, right? My saving grace has been both spirituality and having access to dynamic black men in Baltimore and across the country, men and women, right? This whole notion of a mentor, right, is something that I want y'all to think about. Who are the mentors in your life?
Come on.
If you leave here not realizing the importance of having mentors in your life, you sniffing dope. You gotta have mentors and accountability partners. Raise your hand if you're married. Okay, put your hands down. Raise your hand if you ever want to choke your wife. And I know this is on film. I'm raising both my hands. Right. And so I can call Richard Rose, and in October it'll be 20 years that I've been married. I can call Richard or Daryl Green and say, if the sister or Pastor Linwood, if the sister say one more thing to me today, right? Y'all might see me on the news in handcuffs standing in front of Lincoln Park. Right? I can call the Earl Elamine. I can call the old Amina. So when America punches you in the mouth, what do? When you're having family challenges, what do? How many of y'all got family challenges? Raise your hand, right? How many of y'all got dysfunctional relatives? That's probably everyone in this room. And so let's go to the next slide. That means you, my man. In Kenya, one of the side greetings is Kansira and Gera. And I may not be pronouncing it correctly, but if we were in Kenya, right, one of the questions, if we were walking through Nairobi, one of the questions that men would ask other men are, how are the children? And that has to be the fundamental place that we got to start. What is happening to the children? How are the children? I submit that the village is on fire.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And the only way that we're going to extinguish the fire, Maceo, Brother Holcomb, is if black men take our rightful place as husbands, as leaders in our community. I don't give a damn who the mayor is, who the governor is, who the president is. They're just some things that we got to do.
Yes, sir.
Part of what we got to do is we got to build a nation within a nation. One of the best books that Richard had us read is a book called, and I dare you to read it. Pull out your phones. You can probably order the book now. If you got a flip phone, you might not be able to order it right now. Brother Holcomb, I think you still got a flip phone. Okay, so we'll work with you after this. You got a flip phone too. We'll work with y'all. The book is called what, Richard? The Jewish Phenomenon. Jews have created what? What, a nation within a nation. They decided a long time ago that what happened to us will never happen again. What happened to us will never, ever, ever happen again. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the religion and the culture, and we're going to build out a framework to protect our people and to make sure that we run industry and commerce in this country, and we'll always have a connection to our homeland. I submit that that's going to be the only way we're going to win. We just are not going to win just by electing white folks or Negroes to office. That is a failed strategy. We are not going to win based on a mayoral election. And again, if you still think that we're going to win based on who the mayor is, you're getting high. And I'm going to talk about addiction in a few minutes. All right, let's go to the next slide. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to fill its warmth. The child that is not embraced by us, they're going to burn this thing down. Because you see it. 13, 14-year-olds raping elderly women, robbing people. Read an article about a young brother, the 67-year-old man in Prince George's County went to go get some gas, y'all. Young brother walked up to him, shot him, stood over and said, kick out the keys. Then shot him again. The village is on fire. And we are the only ones that can turn this thing around. That's right. If you think them passing a curfew law in a city is going to change this thing, you want opiates. Let's go to the next slide. So read this. Heal so we don't have another generation of trauma passing itself as culture. I want that to resonate with y'all a little bit. I want y'all to resonate a little bit, right? We have turned our children over to allow America to control every aspect of human development as it relates to our children and families.
That's right. That's right. That's it.
Think about it. Right? Think about it. Right? We ain't got to go back to Africa. What happened after 1865? We black folks in America were solely responsible for doing what? Educating our own people. Right. Now you go to most schools in America, you got, who's teaching? Becky. Y'all know who Becky is? And we can't always be mad at Becky because Becky done stepped up and decided if she's going to teach in the school system. There's some ownership and some accountability on us. There are things that are happening in our community that we are allowing to happen because we ain't doing nothing. All we doing is talk. And I know I don't have a lot of time. Next slide. So, really interesting, right? How many of y'all watch sports?
Yeah.
Real interesting, right? This conversation about our brother Kevin Durant. It is amazing. I'm listening to sports talk radio with my son, and I'm hearing people calling the radio. I got a newfound respect for Kevin Durant because he went hard. He's a man now. So this is how we thinking about manhood, y'all. This brother literally got back on the court knowing full well that he wasn't at 100%. Just because he felt like his team needed him, and he felt like that if he played through the pain and the adversity, he would be a man. That's horseshit. Now this brother will barely be able to walk for the next year. Think about the insanity of that. He knew he wasn't 100% healthy. He's not going to be able to play again for 12 to 13 months. He probably not going to be able to walk for the next 8 months. That's how we view manhood in America. That you got to hurt yourself, or you got to continuously be involved in self-defeating, self-destructive behavior.
Come on.
He had to hurt himself to be a man. Oh, I ain't like Kevin Durant before, but I got a newfound respect for him because he went 100. Going 100 is being married and being committed. Being 100 is what Brother James talked about, keeping your children close. Being keeping it 100 is you can work on the plantation, but what's your side hustle? Cutting grass, frying chicken, chopping wood, something. So that if that company fires you, you still got an income to feed your family. I really want y'all to think about that.
That's plantation.
That's a plantation mentality. Oh, I ride with Kevin Durant now because he put it all on the line. Putting it all on the line is doing everything I need to do for my family. So we got to rethink manhood. How many of y'all thought about that when y'all heard, raise your hand. I knew a fluke, some of y'all took the short bus over here this morning, y'all, because we brainwashed.
Yeah.
Next slide. A couple of things that I want to leave y'all with. You got to deal with your own circumstances. The reason why I say my saving grace is the company of men.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because I got men that I can call, no matter what the issue is. Right? Part of what we got to do, though, we got to deal with our own shit. Two things happened to me growing up in this city. Right? I didn't grow up in Lebanon, or Iran, or Iraq. I didn't grow up in a war zone, or did I? One of my best friends blew his brains out in front of me when I was about 10 years old in Pimlico. It was a junior high school. We played a game called Russian Roulette. Put the gun to his head, blew his brains out in front of me. I was like 10 years old. When I was 19 years old, I was at Morgan State. Story similar to Daryl's. When I was at Morgan State, I was on the corner, North and Maryland Avenue.
Yes, sir.
My man was at Morehouse. He came home doing summer vacation. Some guys tried to rob us. They shot my best friend in the back. He died in my arms. I had to make sure that shit didn't destroy me, y'all.
That's right.
So the therapy is important.
That's right.
But having a bond, a brotherhood of men and women that you can reach out to that's going to hold you down unconditionally.
Yeah. Who
is your mentor? Who is in your corner? Let's go. But you got to do with your own stuff. Half of them motherfuckers in there crazy. But y'all mask it by getting dressed up, putting the cologne on. Because that's what America does to us. That's what America does to black men.
Come on.
Everybody in this room needs to be in therapy. If you are not in therapy or have access to a therapist, something is wrong with you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Next slide. And part of what has happened to us is we worry so much because of the condition that we're in. Right? I remember when I first met my wife, one of the other things that is not on this list, marry a woman that's smarter than you. Some of y'all I know, how many of y'all like women? Let's just deal with that. Okay, fine. Marry a woman that's smarter than you. As Dr. Gregory said, you'll live longer. You'll make less mistakes. You can't always trust a big butt to smile.
Come on, right.
Some of y'all been on that street before.
Hey, David.
Huh? Right.
All she can do is think on the back. That's what I asked my wife.
See, that's a whole nother workshop, bro. That we ain't got time for right now. But let's go to the next slide, 'cause I know I gotta start wrapping up. Don't go away, my man. Part of what we gotta do is we gotta forget the past and we gotta live in the present. I can't continue to just think about the stuff that happened to me and allow it to consume me. At some point, you gotta move forward. At some point, you gotta move forward.
And let it go.
As Daryl talked about, the trauma is always going to be part of our existence, but we got to move toward healing. One of the ways we're going to heal in this town is the men got to start coming together and meeting regularly, and not about the damn Ravens. The hell with the Ravens. We come together about the Ravens. Damn, y'all. We come together about the NCAA final. Something's wrong with y'all, really. Y'all, because I meet with men all of the time to get re-energized. Something's really wrong with y'all. Seriously, y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. All right, let's move on, Dr. Purnell. Richard said this earlier, if you were silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it.
Wow.
I cry at 51 years old, I cry now more than I ever had. Because look at what's happening to us.
That's right. That's right.
And we still be like, I be hearing brothers talk about, I'm gonna go home and watch the BET Awards. What in the hell is wrong with y'all? We are dying. And you talking about watching the BET Awards? Or the MTV Music Video Awards? I mean, think about that. In this town, only 11% of black boys read at grade level.
That's right.
And we not in the streets.
That's right. That's right.
We not in the streets. One person gets killed in Roland Park or Guilford or Canton. And you see what happens. I believe we just haven't suffered enough. I really believe that we have not reached the tipping point of suffering. Let's move to the next slide. I know I got to wrap up, and I'm just really getting to we got to also address this issue of failure. I love the fact that I fail regularly. Because what happens in failure? You get a chance to go back and look and do what? Look at what I did wrong. That's part of being punched in the mouth. How many of y'all ever been in an argument with your wife and you continue to argue, you know damn well you was wrong? Raise your hand. You know good and well you was wrong, but you kept on arguing because you the male ego. Let's move on. Manage your addictions. Raise your hand if you're addicted to something. Strippers, drugs, weed, sports. See, most of y'all ain't lying. All right, we're going to move on, right? Go back real quick. But that's part of the American ethos, to be addicted to something. Right? That's part of America. Caffeine, sugar, reality television. Probably at least 20% of y'all in this room love Housewives of Atlanta and all this other stuff. How many of y'all are really addicted to television? Be honest. 1, 2 people, 3 people, the rest of y'all lying. The rest of y'all are lying. Damn. Let's go to the next one, man. Consider therapy. Brother Holcomb, stand up. Maceo, stand up. 2 of the best therapists. That was a gold clap. 2 of the best therapists in the city. Get their cards, because you know you crazy. Get their business cards. Next slide. Go back, really quick. The first time I went to see a therapist, I was working at Johns Hopkins University School of Public Health, true story. Had to do the whole, you know, when you got the insurance thing, they just make you go see a clinician. Went to go see this white man. Started telling this white man the things that I had been through. True story. When I told this white man about all of the things that I had seen and witnessed, probably about 14 of my friends have committed suicide. Another 3 of my friends have died based on what's called suicide by cop, where they didn't want to live no more, so they approached a police officer with an unarmed gun and they killed him. My first cousin was killed in this town. Earl knows him, Richard knows him, Daryl knows him. Suicide by cop. And then another few friends died by suicide by the streets. Y'all know what that is, right? where you want to go out hard. Because we think that's keeping them 100. When I start telling the third white man all of this stuff that happened to me growing up in Baltimore, this dude start crying. That's right. It's like, yo, I'm coming to you and you. I was blown away, man. I was like, damn, get your shit together, man. The therapist started crying. So that's why I realized I gotta find a culturally competent therapist who looks like me, who understands what I've been through. Let's go to the next slide. I'm wrapping up. Couple things to consider. Raise your hand if you want to win. 6 of y'all want to win. Like, put your hands down. Myself, this brother over here, Olamina, China, Richard, many of us went through an adult rites of passage. Before I even got married, I went through an adult rites of passage initiation. We went through our initiation in the Olatunji village in South Carolina. Right? See, part of our challenge is this notion of culture. Right? America strips you of your culture. Right? Right? What I can tell this brother right here, where you from? Nigeria. One of the things that I'm amazed at what happens to a lot of Africans when they come to this country, what happens? They strip them of their culture and they start to assimilate. And they forget all about being African. Not all of them, but a lot. That's what America does. Right? So this notion of culture and history. Right? I've taken these two brothers to Ghana, right? They will tell you, only time in their life they've ever felt safe. I don't even feel safe in America.
Come on, man.
That's why I go to Africa, because I got to regroup.
Come on, man.
Right? That's why you see travel on here, right? I was in Cuba a couple months ago. Felt safe in Cuba, walking down the street at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't walk down any streets of America at 3 o'clock in the morning. I feel safer in Africa than I do here.
Come on.
So these are a couple things. Men's groups. Dr. Gregory has a men's group. Maceo, raise your hand. And Kingston, raise your hand. They got a men's group. Richard and I are working on starting a men's group, but we need y'all to show up. Because they strengthen the brotherhood. Y'all notice how white men always get along? Or at least get along for the common goal? I've been on a flight before and watched two white men talk to each other, figure out what they do for a living, and exchange business cards and talk about they're gonna start a business together. That's called tribal economics. That's called solidarity. Right? Rites of passage, men's groups, reading. Raise hands if you read. Who can't read, first of all? Serious business, who can't read? If you can't read, that's something that we gotta talk about. Because reading will save your life. So most of y'all in this room raise your hand and say that you can read. If I had a one-on-one conversation and asked most of y'all what y'all read, I tell y'all ain't read nothing. Because that's part of what happens to us in America. Oh, I'll get it on an audio book. What? Is wrong with you? You that damn lazy that you can't pick up a book? That you can only do books by audio? My man up in the back laughing, damn, y'all. There was a time when if they wanted to hide something, where would they put it? At our church. I go to a real progressive church, right? We're reading Naim Akbar's Visions for Black Men. And then we have a conversation with Akbar about the book. Pastor Lynn, we had a meeting about a month ago, right? Y'all know what the brother said to me? Can we get it on an audio book or video book? Yeah. Man, leave me the hell alone. What's a video book? Huh? That's how damn lost we are. They were like, they wanted a video book. What is wrong with you? I know. Exercise and nutrition, as Changa talked about. And the last one. Many of us spend more time in the street waxing and washing our cars, watching 3 games on Sunday on football than we do spending time with our family.
Come on.
Family time. Next slide. I think that might be it. Here's my information, but don't call me if you will. Don't even just turn away. Just don't even look, man. Damn.
Everybody say love more. Love more. Love more. Love more. Right. love more. And really, it's been said, what a wonderful, blessed way it is to spend a Saturday morning. I wish every weekend that this was available. Like, it really needs to be available. I want to start by reiterating what Dr. Gregory said earlier. The system that we know today, it's done. It's over. It's about us getting aligned with what's next. The way the things were done in the past, it's over with. It's a whole new piece. The universe is cleansing itself, and we are the conduit for love. And we have to get back into that space, and that's who we are. Quick takeaways, we always say, look, love like you've always been hated, express yourself like you've never been judged, dream like you never had a nightmare, dance like you always had rhythm, and live like you never feared death. Always say that. Heal, recipe for healing, hope, empathy, affirmations, and love. Spells heal, like recipe for healing.
Can you say that again? Some people write it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hope.
And slow down a little bit.
Slow down, man.
Slow down. Say let's share this great information, man.
Hope, empathy, affirmations, and love.